Okay. Hello, how are you? I hope everyone's doing well. Now, let me see if I even have internet. I'm in a different location, so let's see what's going on. I'm going to give it a minute and see. Okay, looks like some people are in. Okay. Hey, Larry, how are you? Hi, Craig, how are you? Hi, Rooted Life Home, how are you? Good morning, John, how are you? All right. So I didn't put out the notice that I was going live tonight until very late because Jeff and I took an unexpected trip to Maryland and we weren't sure. Yeah, Jeff's in the background tonight. So we are staying in a VRBO. I do not know how the internet is. It's cut out twice on me when I was setting this up. So I'm hoping that I'm streaming okay. Hi, James. How are you? Hi, Bonnie. Hey, Brittany. Good to see you. Hi, Cindy. How are you? Hi, Michelle. Hi, Donna. Hi, Elise. Hi, Christy. Good to see everybody. Craig, I'm not at home. I guess in a way you could say I'm at home. I'm in Maryland, which is my home state. And I'm in Annapolis and we're at a VRBO. So Jeff's in the background. He's probably yawning. So we took Jeff is a pilot. I think most people know that, but if not, he's a helicopter pilot. But we have a little private plane because he's a pilot. It's not anything fancy. I don't want anyone to think like like it's some kind of a jet. It's not. Um, anyway, so we flew it here. Well, Jeff flew it, and oh my goodness, let me just tell you, I mean, it cuts the time in half. It's still a 6-hour flight, but it's 13-hour drive. So, I mean, it cuts it in half. So that's good. But I am beat tired. Like, I did nothing but sit in the plane, but I'm so tired. So, anyway, hi, Jacqueline. How are you? Hi, Lucy. Hi, Annie. Hi, James. I think I said that. I'm not sure if I said hi already. Okay, so John's telling me that the streaming is going fine. So that's good. Hi, Missy. So anyway, so bring on the questions. I'm probably not going to stay the full hour tonight. I'm just so wiped out. But I'm happy to answer some questions. I did not want to cancel twice in a row because last Q&A I had the poison ivy. My face was swollen like crazy. Um, and then Jeff got it. And he's got it all up and down his arms really bad. Like they're like swollen and oh, it's ugly. It's ugly. So anyway, hey Crystal, how are you? Hi Janine, hi Annette. Hi Jacqueline from Indiana. Hi Sylvia, how are you? So you were in Annapolis visiting your sisters? Yeah, that's what I'm here for, my sister. So, and my mom's in town too. She lives in Maryland, but she doesn't live in Annapolis. So she's in town too. James has a question. Do you keep all the Ninja Foodie appliances? Well, I buy them. So yeah, I keep them. Yeah, I've got too many though, really, seriously. But probably, Jeff, how many Ninja Foodies do I have out in the filming kitchen and test kitchen?
About 6.
No. Ninja Foodies? Like the pressure cooker?
Yeah,
No.
because there's one in the
Oh, maybe.
coffee kitchen.
Oh, yeah, right. So, yeah, a lot. And I test with them. I use them. I use some more than others, but yeah, I use them all. And then, of course, I've got a couple grills and oh my gosh, I got a lot of stuff. Oh, Annie, good. Okay, so Annie made the slow cooker ghee, and I think if my memory's serving me correctly, and Annie, you can chime in, but you wanted it to be a little bit salted, but not overly salted. Like I said, when I tried it with all salted butter, it was just too salty because of the concentration, because the water evaporates and the milk solids they kind of solidify and brown. That's what creates the nutty flavor of the ghee. And when I made it with salted butter, it was really salty. But when you make it with unsalted butter, it has no salt in it. So usually if I'm going to spread it on bread, toast or something like that, I might sprinkle a little salt on. But Annie did half salted butter and half unsalted butter, and it's perfect. So I'm going to be making it like that from now on. That was a great idea. I don't know why I didn't think of that, but I didn't. So thank you, Annie, for that one. Okay, so Kay and Prairie Paper Crafting. I see a lot of your videos using the pressure cooker part of the Ninja. Do you use the air fryer much? A lot. I use the air fryer a lot, probably more than pressure cook, really. Eh, Maybe, I mean, it could. What do you think, Jeff? 50-50 or?
No, probably pressure cook 60%.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Other ones split around 40% mark.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So probably but I use it a lot. I mean, it's a great air fryer. I love it. Hi, Leanne. How are you? Hi, George. Hi, Kim. Oh, good. I'm glad you're making the beef stew. I hope you love it. You might have cut off yours. If you had a question, you might have cut it off. So just I'll scroll down. Um, James. Okay, look, let's I'm gonna put this up on the thing. So I stream both live to YouTube and Facebook. So sometimes when I'm answering questions and it comes from a Facebook question, people on YouTube can't see it. And if I do it, if it's the other way around, um, YouTube can't see. I don't know what I just said. See how tired I am. But anyway, let me put this up there. Okay. Oh, you buy them. I would have thought they sponsor you. Absolutely not. That was something that was super important to me from the very beginning, is that I not be sponsored or paid in any way from Ninja. Like I even declined their affiliate program. Like I didn't want to be, they are, as companies are, kind of funny. Like they want you to join their affiliate, but then they want you to post certain things certain times, and they're not too crazy about what they want you to do. But I'm like, I'm not doing any of that. I'll buy them. So yeah, I buy them all with my own money, and yeah, I keep them because I buy them. So yeah, but I don't want to be sponsored. People say all the time you should be sponsored. I don't want to be sponsored. Like I don't want. Nobody tells Louise what to say. That's number one, right, Jeff?
Huh?
Nobody tells me what to say. Is that right? No, nobody tells Louise what to say or do. Nobody tells me what to do either. Like that's no, not going to happen ever, ever. So, yeah, it's just best that I just roll with my own what I want to do when I want to do it. I think I listen to you guys more than I would listen to anybody. Like even my husband, I would listen. Like if you asked me to do something, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I want to do that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to be sponsored. So, all right. All right. How many times did you have to refuel? Okay, once. We refueled once. So this is about the plane ride. So Jeff, how many miles did we go? We stopped in Hazard.
650 miles or more.
Yeah.
Cut it in half, 320. So
So at about halfway was Hazard, Kentucky. So we stopped there for fuel. Really cool little airport. I got to see, like, if I was rich and famous, what my airplane would look like. Because what was it called?
King Air.
A King Air. Ooh, it had steps. Okay, so our airplane, like I have to climb up on the wing to get in. Okay, it's like seriously, my car probably cost more. In fact, I think it did cost more than the airplane. So yeah, it's nothing fancy, guys, and it's not fast either. I mean, it's still 6 hours, but it's 6 versus 13, so it worked out. And we almost fueled twice though, but we were able to make it. I mean, not like going like we weren't, we don't go past the half tank mark, whatever. Okay. Missy hopes you feel better, Jeff. It's really funny. Like he ended up getting a steroid shot because he is highly allergic to a poison ivy. I am not. And but my face was so swollen, but not like if what happened to his arms happened to my face, I don't think I'd still be on camera because he's got like blisters all over. Could you imagine if I had blisters all over my face? No, that didn't happen to me. What did happen though, and I think it's getting better. I think it's getting better. I'm not sure, but I hope it is when the swelling went down, like because the skin had been so stretched, like I had these terrible wrinkles and really dark patches under my eyes. I was nervous, but I think it's going away now. Of course, I have no idea what my makeup looks like tonight because the lighting in the bathroom here wasn't very good. But anyway, you don't need to, you don't care. No, you don't care. All right. Yeah, Janine, try the half and half ghee. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay. Oops, sorry. Okay, blind girl. So you do not cook on the stove anymore since you have multiple ninjas. No, I do. I still cook on the stove. Not as much at home though. Or it's kind of funny. What do you know what year it was, Jeff, when we got hit by lightning and our oven and stove went out?
Yeah, I think it was about 2000,
20?
20 probably.
19 or 20. So I started working with the Ninja Foodies in 2018 in the fall, right before 2019. So maybe it was 20. And I was cooking with them exclusively because I was really learning how to do everything and making sure that I could, make good recipes and stuff in it. And then we had a really bad storm and lightning hit and it hit our house. But the only thing that went out was my oven and stove. So I haven't had an oven since then at my house. I do have one where I do the filming. So I do have what?
We haven't even missed it.
No, I haven't missed it. And the stovetop I'll use, it's gas. I love cooking on gas, but because the electricity isn't there, I have to manually light it with a match or something. So I don't use it too much at home, but I don't cook a lot at home because I'll cook in the studio kitchen and then just take dinner home. So I do more of my cooking there. Hey Joni, how are you? Hi Elaine, how are you? Hi Natalie. Deb. So Deb saying she loves the pressure cook function. Paella comes out so well. Paella, I was trying to make I really messed up my paella. I love paella, but I wasn't going to make a seafood paella. I was going to make a more traditional paella and it didn't turn out well. I didn't like it at all. So it was obviously my fault. I didn't know what I was doing, I guess. Anyway, James has 5 Ninja Foodie appliances. Are they all the pressure cooker and air crisper, or you've got like the grill and then the speedy or something like that? I find a lot now what I've been doing is cooking one thing in one and another in another one. So I might be pressure cooking something in the Ninja Foodie pressure cooker and air crisper, but I might be making bread in another one or something like that. I've been doing that a lot lately. Um, Oh, thank you, Brittany. Brittany's recommending the beef stew. Oh, the beef and barley stew. Oh my gosh, yes. That is so good. It's funny, Brittany. I'm testing a whole chicken in the wood fire oven, which is the outdoor oven, and I had the carcass left. I used the meat for doing a chicken bacon ranch pasta salad, and I had the carcass left with there was some meat on it still too. So I thought, let me pressure cook and make like a concentrated kind of bone broth with the chicken. And then I can just add vegetables and whether I add rice or whatever. And I thought, I bet chicken and barley soup, like a chicken mushroom and barley soup. That sounds really good to me. So I think I'm going to work on that. So what I did with the concentrated stuff is I threw in some vegetables that I had that were in the freezer I needed to use up. And I ended up freezing it. And I kept some out, but I didn't put any noodles. I didn't put any pasta. I didn't put anything in. So now I can take it out, thaw it, and then throw in some barley and see what that tastes like. Some barley and some mushrooms. But I made just like a chicken and chicken noodle soup the other night. It was really good. My hair's falling out. I didn't really do it today. It's kind of a mess. Anyway, sorry. And I'm fidgety. Can you see?
And you're losing your voice.
I'm losing my voice. Why am I losing my voice? I didn't even talk all day. I'm just so tired. Hey, Daddy Dutch, how are you? Thank you, Deb. Thank you so much. That's important to me. So integrity is everything to me. I like everything. Truth is everything. Like I can't even be your friend if you'd lie to me. Like I just can't even. Like that's just I don't know. It's just that's just who I am. So I won't lie to you. Don't lie to me. That kind of thing. And yeah. So integrity is super important. Oh, James, don't worry. Don't worry. Ask away. That's what the Q&A is for. And I like it. I like it when people ask me those kind of questions. You can ask me cooking questions too, but I like it because if you don't know something, ask. Because don't make assumptions. I have people on YouTube all the time making assumptions about me. They don't know me. You know, they're telling me I'm a salesperson, this and that. The only thing I'm trying to sell is confidence in the kitchen. That's the only thing I want to peddle, right? I don't care what appliance you cook. Honestly, I don't. I don't care what you have in your kitchen. I don't care if you have one pot and one, spoon. I don't care. I still want to inspire you to cook. So Yeah, I don't get into that. And I don't get into brand names either. So I'm not peddling Ninja because I like Ninja over Instant Pot. I don't care. I don't care either way. I personally prefer the Ninja over the Instant Pot Duo Crisp. I personally prefer it, but I don't care if you prefer the Instant Pot Duo Crisp. They do basically the same thing. Yeah, no, not that person. Um, sorry, I'm losing my voice. I don't really know why. Thank you, Kim. I'm feeling like this is the tell Louise she's great day. Thank you. I appreciate that though. I really do. Because sometimes it's hard. There are some people out there that are just not nice people at all. And I'm like, who are you? You know, why are you wasting your time writing me a novel about how terrible I am? I just say whatever. I'm starting to delete some of the comments. I used to not want to be that person that deleted comments that were negative, and I will never delete a comment that's negative about a recipe that somebody made and has an opinion on. Like, you make a recipe of mine and it didn't work for you, I want to know that. I want to know why it didn't work. I want to talk to you about it. I want to get it to work if I can. See what happened. Is it my recipe? Did something go wrong? Can I tweak it? Is there something, something I can do? But if you're just there just to be mean, I'm just deleting them. I'm like, I don't have time for that. I can barely answer all the real questions and the nice people and the real people that are out there. So I just don't have time for that anymore. I used to entertain them a little bit. I used to like try to prove my point. Like, I don't even waste my time anymore. It's just like delete, delete, delete. Annette, this is a really interesting question that you asked because the airport that we landed at today, a friend of Jeff's and mine, I just had never met her in person, who has known us for years. And when I used to do Tasty Tuesday, it was all stovetop cooking at home, right? Way before the Ninja. And she was asking questions and stuff. And I said, sometimes I do miss the old fashioned stove and oven cooking. And so I do it, right? I'll use it, I'll do it. But I do find that using the Ninja appliances does save time. I do find myself, instead of like getting a pot to put it on the stove to boil something, I do tend to want to use the Ninja Foodie. For some reason, it's easier for me. Maybe that's just because I've been using it for so long now. But yeah, sometimes I do, and sometimes I will use the stove. I mean, like, I don't think I found a Ninja appliance that makes bread as well as my oven bakes bread. I am not probably going to ever put out a cookie recipe. I might do. I shouldn't say I should, will never, because I might do a big cookie. I've done that a couple times, a big cookie in the Ninja. But I've never gotten it to where I absolutely love it as much as when I bake them in the oven. So until that happens, until I get like, whether it's the batter that needs to change, whether it's the temperature, whatever, I keep trying it, but I have not gotten it as good as what I make in the oven. So I don't make it in the Ninja. And I'm certainly not going to give you a batter that makes a dozen or two dozen cookies, which is traditional or normal, and expect you to air fry them in batches, unless, which I've worked on this too, unless it's one of those frozen cookie dough recipes, which I've been working on, where you actually would make your cookie dough up, you wrap it, or however you want to store it, doesn't really matter, and you freeze it. So if you just want one cookie, you can just slice it off right from frozen and bake it or air fry it or whatever. That I might do. But as far as a batch of Christmas cookies, we're using the oven. We're using the oven. I'm using the oven, and sometimes I'll use the XL oven. That does work well, but you can still only do 6 cookies at a time. So if you're going to do, several dozen cookies, you're going to use your big oven. If you have one that works. I don't have one that works at home. So if this is a funny story, I'll share it with you. I told Jeff the other day, I said, we now have 13 chickens. Well, we have 12 hens, right? We have 12 hens, 1 rooster. So we're getting a lot of eggs. They're all egg laying now. Okay. So we're getting a lot of eggs. And I'm looking at the eggs accumulating and accumulating and accumulating. And I'm like, I've got to do something with these eggs. And I love eggs. And I was saying to Jeff, I said, why am I the person that will get home from work at 9:30 at night and make snickerdoodle cookies, but I won't scramble 2 eggs in a frying pan in the morning for breakfast. What? Does that make sense? That makes no sense to me. That I will make snickerdoodles basically in the middle of the night because I was exhausted, but I wanted to test a recipe and I wanted snickerdoodles. So I made them, but I will not scramble 2 eggs and fry them in a pan. I don't know why. And I'm not doing scrambled eggs in the Ninja Foodie either because that's silly. The pot's too deep. It's not going to work. I mean, it works, but it's cumbersome. It's not worth it. Unless you're camping or something, or you don't have a stove and this is your thing, then I mean, that obviously it's fine. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let me move on. um, Hi, Elaine. How are you? Larry, do you have a recipe for banana cake? I don't, but that sounds amazing. I love bananas. I mean, I have banana bread. I don't even think I've had a banana cake. Have you had a banana cake, Jeff?
I don't think so.
That sounds good though, doesn't it?
It tastes like banana bread, sign me up.
Wonder if you made a banana cake with a peanut butter buttercream. You know?
And a little drizzle of chocolate.
Yeah. Sounds good. I might have to work on that. That sounds good. Missy, I have not tried the homemade dip. It has been so crazy. Please forgive me. It's just been so crazy. Like, I don't just make things. That's the thing. Like, even the snickerdoodles. Snickerdoodles aren't my absolute favorite cookie. I wanted cookies. If I was going to make a cookie for myself, I probably would make a peanut butter or a chocolate chip cookie. But I need to test a snickerdoodle cookie recipe. So I made snickerdoodles because that's what I needed to test. So I don't even like cook like that anymore. I used to, but I don't anymore. Sorry. Um, but I will make it because I know I've had something similar. And Missy has given me a recipe for a dip that's very, very simple to make. And I'm sure it's delicious, but I have not made it. I'm sorry. Hi, Christine. How are you? Hi, Brianna. How are you? Yeah, the orange pumpkin bread. That is delicious. So it's regular pumpkin bread, if my memory serves me correctly, with an orange like drizzle on top. If my memory serves me correctly. That is an older recipe, but oh my gosh. Um don't worry about my makeup. I'm good. Good. I'm glad. Okay. I can see I'm way back. John, that's a good point. So John's talking about like an allergy. I don't know about milkweed, but an allergy gets worse every year you come in contact with it. That could be because last year was the first year, like I'm only allergic to guinea pigs my whole life. That's all have ever been allergic to. No poison ivy, nothing like that. And guinea pigs, of course, don't have anything to do with poison ivy. I don't know why I've said that, but just that's all I'm allergic to is guinea pigs. And last year I had a bout where my face was swollen after I cut grass, but it went away in a like the next day. It was gone. Like nothing weird. Um this lasted 3 days. The swelling was almost to the point where I was going to go to the doctor. And I'm a retired nurse. I don't go to the doctor too much. So it was almost that close where I had to go, but I didn't. I didn't end up going. I didn't want to be on steroids, and I knew that's what they were going to want to do. That would be the only next step. And I was like, one more day. But if it had gone on another day, I would have had to have gone. Okay, great. Great, Elaine. I don't know if you followed my recipe or not, and it does not matter. But yeah, I was surprised about how you could like throw in all these ingredients, including the shrimp, and set the pressure. And I think it's a very low amount of time, and the shrimp were not overcooked. I was really shocked about that. Um, Usually, when I do a recipe, I put the shrimp in afterwards and let the residual heat cook them because they really don't take that long to cook. But in that my shrimp boil recipe anyway, they really turned out nicely. Oh my gosh. Okay. We're going to have to do a poll probably at one point to see who has the most ninjas. 14. I still probably have more, but when you count in all of them. But yeah, we'll have to do a poll sometime. That's funny. 14. That's getting close up to me. Um, Good evening, Diana. How are you? Oh, that's awesome. That the French onion soup casserole. Yeah, the French onion. Was it French onion chicken, Jeff?
Yeah.
No, it has beef in it. I have a French onion chicken, but this is what French onion. What did I call it? I don't even remember. I don't remember. He's putting goop.
Chicken pasta.
French onion pasta. Oh, it's just French onion pasta because I added the beef later. I keep wanting to say chicken, but it's beef. I added beef. Um, okay, so James has the Ninja Foodie air fryer pressure cooker, the Pro System. I don't know what that is. The Pro System 1100, the cold and hot blender. I love that blender. They've kind of like done away with it, but I love it. And the air fry oven. Do you have the flip oven or the XL oven? I like the XL oven better than the flip. Like I started to work with the flip, but just wasn't enough room. Like I couldn't even do a meatloaf right in it. So I switched over to the XL. I use the XL a lot for what do you call it? Dehydrating a lot. I love the XL oven though. It's probably one of my favorite. Um, yeah, no, Jeff is in the background. He will be in the background. When he comes back around, you'll see him again. I'll tell him to come in and say hi. He's putting stuff on his poison ivy right now. Okay, I always love these. John says losing voice is someone's trying to silence you in a good context. Oh.
Maybe it's me.
Jeff's, Jeff's trying to silence me. Interesting. In a good context. Well, just like nobody can tell me what to do, I don't know if anyone can silence me. Good, bad, or indifferent. I'm kind of mouthy. I don't know. Oh, good, Joni. Yeah, I love chicken mushroom. So I didn't make that up. I didn't invent that. I always, when I come up with like different combinations, things that I haven't had before, I'm like, oh my gosh, I bet I just came up with something original. And we will do an internet search. And no, there's like 2,500 recipes for it. So yeah, I'm sure I didn't make that up, but it just sounded good. I've never seen a recipe for it, but it sounded really good. So, and easy, right? Easy to make. I'll tell you what is the easiest thing in the world to make though. Ham and bean soup. If Debbie was here, she would be laughing with me right now. So for those of you that haven't been following me since 2019, in 2000, I think it was 19, maybe 20, I did ham and I made so many hams testing different methods of cooking. I never did really find the best way because if you, especially for spiral in the Ninja, it's a little bit tough because they can dry out under pressure. It just was a little tough of a thing. Anyway, I made so many hams that I have not made ham since. But I had a ham in my freezer from last year because I was going to test a recipe last year and I just couldn't do it. I was like, I just can't make any more ham. I'm still not over the ham. Like I just can't. But this year I said, Louise, you got to try the ham with the steam and crisp. So of course it had been in the freezer for a while. So I'm like, oh, let me thaw it out. And I'll try it steam and crisp. And it was fine, but we're not big ham eaters, there's only two of us. So I'm like, what can I turn this into? And I'm like, oh, I'm just going to turn it into ham and bean soup. And it had been in the refrigerator. This is how wonderful like ham and bean soup is. Been in the refrigerator, loosely covered. Totally don't follow my own advice about how things should be covered in the refrigerator for best quality. So some of it had gotten a little dry, been in there a couple days. Doesn't matter. I threw it right in the pressure cooker, threw in 2 cups of beans, threw in some water. Literally, that is it. Pressure cooked for 30 minutes. And then I added in some carrots. Best bean soup ever because the ham seasons it. Like I don't even think I added any salt because ham's salty. I love recipes like that. Literally put the whole ham in. I broke it up later, but put the whole, remainder of the ham in. It was spiral sliced. It was seasoned too, like with a little bit of a brown sugar glaze that I just used the packet that came with it. That added an interesting dimension to the soup. But paired with the beans, it wasn't like sweet soup. It was really delicious. I was like, this has got to be the easiest thing in the world. All right, Randy's got a real question, so I'll stop blabbing. Hi, Louise. How do you think the Mississippi pot roast would turn out if I use beef cubes instead? I think it'd be fine. Perfectly fine. So just to put some context around this, the Mississippi pot roast, I use uh, a large chuck roast, but I cut it into big cubes. So I pressure cook for 30 minutes. If you wanted to make it and you wanted to use smaller beef cubes, you could probably get away with doing a 10 or 15-minute pressure cook. You'd be fine. But you're not really going to overcook that unless you really went like hours. So I don't think, though, if it's small, I don't think I'd do 30 minutes. I think I'd stick with 15 or 20. But yeah, it would be fine because you're going to shred it up anyway. Or just keep it in chunks, especially if you're going to make a sandwich like I did. Oh my gosh, so delicious. All right, this is a good question. Let me take a drink on this one. Cheers, everybody. This is a good question, and I want to answer it with some intelligence that I'm not really feeling like I have right now. So let me take a deep breath and take a drink here. Okay, so why do baked goods come out raw in the center in my Ninja Foodie? It's the way the heat's conducting. So in the Ninja Foodie, it's small, and you have direct heat coming down, and you have a little bit going around, but it doesn't evenly cook. So you've got more heat coming down from the top, some going around the sides, and some going on the bottom. But the top is going to always get done before before the middle. The bottom and sides will get done a little bit, just a tad bit later than the top. But there's ways to fix this. And it depends on what you're making. First of all, the easiest thing to do is to get a bundt pan with the center cut out, that's got the hole in the center, because what happens, it acts like a heating core. So as the pan heats up, so you figure you got the direct heat from the top baking the top of your baked goods. Then you've got the pan, and let's just say it's aluminum or something like that, whether it's nonstick or whatever, it doesn't matter. Let's just say it's not glass, it's not silicone. Those do the same thing, just a little different rate. But let's just say it's aluminum. The aluminum is going to heat up, which conducts heat to your batter, whatever you're baking, and that cooks the sides. Same with the bottom, right? So you've got main heat source, subheat source on the sides and the bottom. But by the time it gets to the center, because food cooks from the outside in, you probably have burned your top or overcooked your sides a little bit, but definitely the top. So this is what you do. You either use the bundt pan, which conducts heat to the center. So now you've got the heat coming from the sides of the pan, the top of the pan, and through the center that is conducting heat from the center out in your baked goods. I hope this makes sense. It's hard to explain without like having that pan. But so if you think about your batter, it's got heat coming from all sides now. So it's cooking more evenly. In the oven, it's a little bit different because you've just more area. So you're not as close to your top heating source because you can adjust your racks down in your oven, and you just have more area. You have more heat loss, but you have more area. It's just a more even heating. So to fix that in the Ninja Foodie, if you don't want to use a bundt pan, because let's say you want to make an 8-inch round cake pan, get what's called heating cores. And professional bakers use these all the time. When I make wedding cakes that are big, like 10, 12-inch round wedding cakes, I use heating cores in the center because you're going to have the same issue in the oven when you start getting into these large dimensions. So get the heating cores. They're like they look like little nails. They've got a flat bottom. They sit on the bottom of your pan, and they act as a heat conductor. But when you pull them out, you don't ever know that they were there. Like you just, decorate your cake right over it. So it's not like a hole in the middle of your cake like a bundt cake. Okay, hopefully that answered your question. Now, if you didn't want to do that, you don't have them, you can turn your heat down, protect the top with some foil or something, and bake longer at a lower temperature, and you can cook your baked goods all the way through. But the heating cores make it much easier. Okay. All right. So, James, all right. Will you personally write a cookbook about all the Ninja Foodie appliances? Okay, so let's talk about cookbooks. I have one for the Ninja Foodie. It is a fall-based ebook. I have wanted to do a cookbook since I started this in 2018. Cookbooks are no joke. If they're going to be good, they take a long time to make. The the shark ninja people put out these appliances at lightning speed that there is no decent recipe creator that could put out cookbooks that fast. It just doesn't work that way. Not if you're triple testing your recipe. Now, can you put out an ebook? Yeah, probably. But all my recipes are for free on my website. So I would have to do double duty, make all those recipes plus extras to get into a book that weren't on my website. Or I could do some that were on my website and some new. I just haven't had time. But I thought about doing a cookbook for the Ninja Speedy because I thought, you know what, if I could come up with, 65, 70 recipes for the Ninja Speedy, that might be helpful. But now they're changing things again with the Ninja Speedy. I literally cannot keep up. And when you do a printed cookbook, it needs to be the same. So it's very difficult. Ninja makes it hard. I mean, they're a business. They're in the appliance business. I understand why they're putting out new ones all the time, new models, but it's difficult to keep up with. Let me tell you, it's difficult. Difficult. Um, oh, that's awesome. Okay, Natalie, that makes me feel so good because I had never had Mississippi pot roast before I made it. I didn't know what it was supposed to taste like. I mean, I can gather what it's supposed to taste like based on the ingredients, but I didn't really know. So when I made it, I had Jeff take it to work and ask his coworkers if they liked it. And one of them said, "My wife makes it all the time. This one's incredible. This one's awesome." But I wasn't really sure. I was like, "Oh gosh, I hope it's good." So that makes me feel good. Thank you very much. Oh, good. Randy found the powdered buttermilk. That's awesome. All right, let's see. Okay, good question. Christy, when you're using the steam function, do you close the valve or leave it open? Leave it open. You want the steam to come out. So it's a gentler, lower temperature cook. If you were on the steam function, this is a fact, 100%. The buttons don't mean that much, okay? If you were push the steam function and you had the vent closed, you trapped in the steam, the button in the back, whether it's, well, now they're red, silver, or black, with all the different models. If the pin goes up, guess what? You're pressure cooking. You might not be pressure cooking at as high of a PSI or as high of a heat, but you're pressure cooking. You are. So yeah, definitely open. Same with slow cook. It is possible on slow cook, believe it or not, to create enough steam to put the pot under pressure. So make sure your valve is open. All right. Elaine, that is my first and only speedy recipe is the lemon orzo. And it's kind of a knockoff of a recipe that I have for the Ninja Foodie, which is I think it's the lemon pasta. I think it's the lemon chicken pasta or lemon pasta. I can't remember now. See, I don't remember anything. And I decided to switch up to orzo and just do it a little bit differently in the speedy. And that's my only one so far. But there's so many recipes that I have on my website that are for pressure cooking that I know I can just change it up a little bit, modify the ingredients, have the same flavor profile that I already know is delicious, and make a speedy recipe. That's why I thought I could do a cookbook fairly easily. But I don't even know well, it's not that I'm not allowed to say it because I'm not sponsored by Ninja. I can say whatever I want. They are now coming out with something called the Ninja Combi, COMBI, Ninja Combi. I don't know if Walmart made a boo-boo by releasing that information. It's not in stock. The only thing I can find on the Ninja website about it is 3 attachment pieces, like 3 trays. But literally, this is a little oven that does what the Ninja Speedy does. Okay. So mind blown a little bit because I'm thinking it's got more room. The heat source is a little bit different. You're not going to have all that direct heat. I'm thinking this one might be a game changer. Really, I'm thinking if there's a place, and I don't know that there is, but if there's a place to add water outside of the unit, like think about a Keurig for a minute, okay? Think about a coffee pot. If there's a little reservoir outside of this combi oven where I could add some water and I could hit a steam and I can inject steam when I'm baking my bread and I can have that steam only go for a certain period of time, I'm going to fall on the floor in love with that thing because I've always wanted a steam oven, but a true steam oven that you can get installed. I mean, I think there's some brands of steam ovens that you can buy that are countertop. I do. I've not looked into them too much, but I do think they're out there. I wanted a real steam oven. I say real. I shouldn't say that because I mean, I'm sure the ones that are out there are real. They work just like the Ninja Foodie is a real thing. It works. But what I mean is installed in your kitchen like your oven would be, like a wall oven, and they run plumbing to it, right? And I mean, steam is a beautiful way to cook food. Beautiful way, especially when you can add then in some dry heat at the end. I mean, I don't know, guys. I don't know. Time will tell. I'll let you know. Thank you. Thank you, American Girl. Thank you so much. That means the world to me. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. My husband bought an Ninja Foodie. I had no idea what to do with it. Then I found your YouTube channel. The first thing I cooked was the beef stew. It was so good. That's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. That makes me feel so good. Okay, James is asking Randy where he found the powdered buttermilk. So maybe Randy can jump in if he's still on. He or she. I say he. I don't know why, but Randy's can be either one. Okay. Let's see. Bonnie's. I'm seeing if there's a question in there. Oh, well, it's still a teaching moment. Okay. I have a 6.5 quart foodie single lid and love it. That's the smart lid. I love mine too. My daughter talked me into getting a microwave combo that also air fries. Works really well for larger items like your chicken ranch bagel bites. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Chicken ranch bites. Yeah. The sliders. I don't have bagel bites, but that sounds really good. I think I might have to do that too. They turned out great, but next time I will turn the temp down a bit because the top's brown and not the bottoms, but they tasted amazing. Okay. I don't think that's my recipe, Bonnie, but it does sound amazing. Oh, Annie, right? Ordering food that a recipe calls for, and then you get them, you can't remember for what, like powdered milk. Okay, well, I've got something that I can share with you about my website that you may not know. And that is if you hit the little love button at the, I don't know why they put the little heart button. I guess it's not love button, it's a heart button. It means love to me. Anyway, if you are on a recipe of mine, and let's say you're ordering you want to make it, you're ordering some food from it, and you want to make sure you remember what it is, hit that little heart button. It will save it to your personal favorites on my website. So whenever you go to my website, you hit the little, there'll be a little, a little tab next to the heart. You click that and you will see the recipes that you've saved. That's going to narrow it down, right? And if you give your email address, which I don't even get the email address, it's not like that. It's not like I'm going to start emailing you. I'm not. But if you put your email in, then it will go across your phone and any other device that you're using. That's how it connects you, is through your email. If you don't put your email in, whatever device you saved it on is where it is. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions about that, just ask though. But it's a nifty feature that there's really no good way for me to explain it on my website. I mean, I guess I should. I should probably start putting, like, if you love this recipe or you want to make it, hit the heart button and save it to your favorites. I probably should be doing that. Oh, another thing, guys, if you do go to my website, if you want to give me some feedback, I'd really love it. I did a different post template for, what was the last recipe I put out, Jeff? Mississippi pot roast? No. Yes. Was it? Yeah, because I did. Okay. Was that when I changed the color scheme and everything? I think so. So anyway, I think it's the Mississippi pot roast, but it'll be on ones that I put out going forward too. And I changed the layout a little bit. I'm trying to figure out like ways to make it the most helpful recipe it can possibly be without, I am long-winded in talking and in writing. So I'm trying to get a little bit more disciplined by putting like a quick tip in, things that I think are really important so that the articles are more skimmable. I think I'm getting better at it. I'm trying anyway. And I also put in a section at the bottom that I'm going to include on every one that would make sense to include it on. And that will be storage, like freeze, how to freeze it or how long to store it in the refrigerator, and how to reheat it, and give hopefully two different methods that I actually try myself, because I reheat my food, right? So now I'm just paying attention to which method works best for me. Um, so anyway, I hope that's helpful. And if you want to give me feedback, I'd absolutely love it. So if you check out the website and look at that, it'll be right on the homepage. And my website's thesaltedpepper.com. And then you can either email me or you could even leave a comment on that post if you wanted to, or just catch up with me next time that we meet up. Okay. All right. Let me skim on down. Somebody says angel food cake. I don't know. That's not really a question. I don't know if I'm not following it because I'm not following the chat very well. Um, but I love angel food cake. I want to make one from scratch. I've done it once, but all right, Michelle. I see losing mojo for cooking. So let's you recently separated. Well, I understand that then. That makes sense. Can you buy mojo? Um, no, but I will give you some of mine, babe. I really will. I feel like I want to cry right now. Mm, Cooking for one is tough and it is boring. Um, my biggest joy is cooking for Jeff, really. And I couldn't imagine like even wanting to cook anything if he wasn't in my life. Um, but I'm going to give you some of my mojo, you know? So you send me an email, Louise at thesaltedpepper.com. Let's figure out something that's going to really brighten your life up. Okay. And we'll cook it together. Okay. All right. I just, ah, I want everyone to have a little mojo for cooking, because when you accomplish something that maybe you didn't think you could, or that you thought took too much time, or maybe you didn't want to buy that ingredient because maybe it was a little bit more expensive or you weren't sure if you'd use it again, but you really want to make that recipe and you just do it and you successfully do it, the amount of pride that you have in yourself is amazing. Like, believe it or not, guys, I had a boyfriend one time and I had always cooked my whole life, but every time I cooked something for him, he would put me down about it. Like, it wasn't as good as what he could do, that kind of thing. And I lost my mojo too for cooking. I got to the point where I didn't cook anything, nothing. So I know what that feels like, and I don't want that for anybody. So yeah, let's all give each other some mojo to cook and cook for ourselves. Like I say, like it makes me happy to cook for Jeff because I like to be able to like give it to him. But honestly, I guess I do cook for myself. The joy of cooking for myself, like making those snickerdoodles, late at night. I wanted to do it and I did it. And I got I feel proud about that doing it. I think I'm gonna call them like snicker whatevers because they're not snickerdoodles. They don't resemble snickerdoodles hardly at all.
Snicker something.
They're snicker somethings, but they gave me a baseline where Jeff and I, when he did get home, because he was working nights at night, when he did get home and he tried them, he's like, these are delicious, but I feel like they need to be almond cookies. So I'm like, okay, because they obviously are not snickerdoodles. So I think I'm going to turn them into some almond cookies. The texture of these cookies, flipping amazing. They're just amazing. Anyway, all right. Let's see. Let's see. I did get a little confident in using it. You said you will never cook a roast in the Ninja. I cooked a chuck roast following your boneless rib recipe again. It was delicious. That's awesome. I don't know if I said I would never cook a roast in the Ninja because I do it all the time. I even did prime rib. I didn't think I'd ever do a prime rib. I really thought like that's sacred. We're gonna leave that for the oven. But the prime rib in the Ninja food turned out darn well, really. Okay. Louise's affirmation. My voice will always speak the truth. You will not silence me. Wow, that's powerful, John, because that is the truth. That is 100% the truth. And it's gotten me in trouble before, believe it or not. Yeah, it's gotten me in trouble.
It's not your voice, it's your mouth.
What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say?
Your voice has never gotten you in trouble.
That's true. Well, he means what I speak, obviously. It's gotten me in trouble. But it didn't silence me either. I mean, I was brutally attacked because of my mouth by a guy, but he ended up in jail, not me. And they didn't silence me then either. So yeah, no, I don't think anyone's ever silenced me. I don't think anyone could. Okay, boy, this is like I feel like I'm in therapy. Okay. Okay, this is a good one. Don't you find the Ninja Foodie large and cumbersome? I don't have much in the way of counter space. I don't anymore. Like when I first got it, I'm like, whoa, this is big. I don't use the 8-quart a lot. I have it. I have several of them. I use the 8-quart at home all the time because that's the one I have at home because I keep all my 6.5 quarts at work. But the 8-quart is a little bit difficult for me because I'm short and it's harder for me to see in. So I definitely don't do videos unless I absolutely have to use it because the recipe I'm making requires 8-quart. I don't use it on video because it is a little cumbersome for me. But other than that, I have just gotten so used to it and it stays on my counter all the time. And I don't think the footprint, I mean, it takes up less footprint than a crock pot, believe it or not. It's a little bit taller, but it's not nearly as wide. So when I put the possible cooker next to my foodie, the foodie looks bigger, but actually the footprint is not any bigger. It's smaller, wouldn't you say? I mean, maybe inch for inch because you got to take like the possible cookers narrower, but it's longer. So to me, it takes up more
But it
space.
weighs nothing.
Well, there is that. Okay, there is that. The possible cooker, when you take the pot out, it weighs nothing. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you could just balance it. It weighs nothing. But the foodie does weigh something, even with the pot out. The foodie's heavy. So yeah, it's not probably an appliance that if I had to keep it in a cabinet, I'm not sure I would use it that much, honestly. That's probably why I didn't use my Instant Pot a lot. I didn't have it out on the counter, and getting it out just seemed like a hassle. But I leave my Ninja Foodie out, so I would encourage people to try to find a spot on the counter if you want to be able to use it a lot. Otherwise, it really does become a hassle, unless you have a sliding cart or something that you can pull it around with. Because, let's face it, like if things are cumbersome or they take time to get out and set up, we are likely to use it. So just I would recommend leaving it on the counter if you want to use it a lot. Yeah, Jolene says make omelets and mini muffin. I've done that before. I can see how far back I am, because or how like I'm only at 7:17. I got to move on. I got to keep going. I'm like 30 minutes behind. Anyway, but I've tried that. I forget about them in the freezer. Oh, it's just silly. I'm not. I'm far from perfect, guys. Like I'll forget about things. We just throw out a bunch of stuff from the freezer. And then I'm terrible at labeling. I'm getting better though, aren't I, Jeff?
Yeah. Well, this might be from before, but we did pull some things out of the freezer the other day, and we didn't know what they were.
Yeah, I get in a hurry. I think, oh, I'll remember what that is. Um, Newbie Nicole says, "Have you ever thought about selling your fresh eggs? Not selling them, but giving them away." Yeah, Jeff, and I will. These eggs that we have this whole abundance of, like some of them are like the little baby eggs from when they first started laying. So I wouldn't sell those. Obviously, we'll give them away to people at work. It's really not worth sitting there. Not, I guess I could have made a good side business though when eggs were what, like $20 a dozen. My goodness. Angela, I only have one recipe. No, actually, I have two recipes for the speedy. I have yogurt, how to make yogurt in the speedy, and then my lemon orzo in the speedy. Those are the only two I have out so far. James, do you have, so James wants to know if he can bake cookies in the Ninja air fryer oven. Yes, absolutely. If you have the flip, you need to lower the temperature. If you have the XL, you don't need to lower the temperature. Even though it's convection, I found that you leave the temperature the same as in the recipe that you're following. And it's fine. They work out fine. But you can only do you can do smaller trays. So you do like 6 at a time. I'm not sure. I think I have tried to do a double rack before. like, where you stack them, but things are not going to cook as evenly as if you just put one cookie tray on the middle rack. But absolutely, you can use the oven. But you can use any appliance that has dry heat. You can bake cookies in. You can bake cookies in the Ninja Foodie. I just think you can only bake so many, right? But if you are going to make 5 or 6, not even that. If you're going to make 2 or 3, you can do them in the Foodie too. One thing I found though about the Foodie is the fan, just because of the proximity and how it all works, that I haven't had great luck with getting beautiful tops on my cookies because the fan blows the batter a little bit, but it still works. Okay, the possible cooker. Yeah. So I did bake bread. Since you watched that, I'll just give you a little recap. So I was going to bake bread in it from start to finish. That was one of my goals I wanted to see if I could do. And I didn't. I baked the bread on that episode in the oven, but I proofed it and stuff and baked it in the possible pot, just transferred to the oven. So then a couple days later, I made some bread dough and I decided to form 2 like little small baguettes, if you will, or sandwich. Like little sub buns or whatever. And I proofed in there. It seemed to be going okay. And I did not get it. They were fine and they turned out fine, but I did not get a good rise and I did not get a good bake because they overheated on the bottom, which somebody did warn me that was going to happen. And you're not getting any heat from the top, which I knew this, but I just wanted to see if it could be done. It's not something I'm going to recommend doing. It's not going to can it be done? Absolutely. Maybe I could modify a recipe of making some sort of buns. I think dinner rolls might be okay in there if I can figure out like to get the temperature right, to get a better rise. But they're not going to be golden brown on the top. Okay. But there might be a way to make it doable, but it's not going to be a recommended method, really. At least not for a crunchy bread. Definitely not. Okay. All right. So James, you have the flip. The XL oven is it's a bigger one, and I love it. I just love it. The flip is hard to clean, Leanne. It really is. The XL oven's easier, Annette, to clean, in my opinion, than the flip. The flip was difficult. So James, you dehydrate in yours too. I do that a lot. Vegetables and make your own seasonings. That's awesome. Awesome. Okay. Okay, Randy, white chili. Let's talk about that for a minute. I have been trying to make white chicken chili recipe for a long time, 6 years. I have never gotten it to where it's not pink. I kid you not. It's always pink. I want white chili, but I can't get the seasonings right unless it turns pink. Maybe you can help a girl out. How do you do it? It tastes bland. It's boring. I haven't figured it out yet. Okay. And John loves his flip, and he does. It says it does an amazing job with cakes and cooking for 2. Yeah, I like to make bigger things. Well, I'm writing recipes too, John. So I'm making them for a family. They're usually at minimum 4 servings, and like I couldn't even get like a good meatloaf pan in there. But the flip I did like for doing sheet pan meals. Oh, you know what, Sue? I can't find it either. I'm going to have to, you're right. I can't find it either. I love that mustard. I'll have to figure out if I can make a version. But now I don't even have it to like taste it. Jeff, I'm going to put you on that task. Remember that Cuban mustard that we loved and we can't find it anymore? Maybe we can try to order it from some specialty store or something. And then we're in Annapolis. That's right. Because we live in a little town, so we definitely don't have it. But we're in Annapolis now. We might be able to find it. I'll look for it, and then I'll try to make a recipe. Okay. Kevin, do you ever go out someplace and think I can do that better, then go home and give it a try? Yeah, all the time. Now, we went to a place tonight, though, for dinner that I have to tell you is probably one of the best sandwiches I've ever eaten in my life. And what's the restaurant called? Let's give them a little plug. Jeff? Cooper's Hawk. I don't know if they're a chain or not. Okay. So Cooper's Hawk. And Jeff I ordered a gnocchi with, it was gnocchi carbonara with chicken. Very rich, very delicious, but kind of heavy for how I was feeling. And Jeff says, "So here, take a bite of this sandwich." And he ordered the crispy chicken sandwich, which sounds like, oh, how boring is that? It was so good. I just kept his half or my half. I kept that half and we brought home the gnocchi for another meal because I was like, I can't give this back to you. It had, what was the aioli on it, honey? Garlic. Oh, I can't say that word either. Sriracha. Some kind of a sriracha aioli. But the kicker, not only was the chicken perfectly cooked, perfectly crispy, perfectly breaded, but it had an Asian slaw on it. These flavors combined so well together. And then they served a little cup of like honey water. And I'm saying it's honey water. It tasted just like honey, but it was not thick at all. It was like water, honey water. And you dipped your sandwich in it. Oh, it was the best tasting thing ever. But yeah, all the time I go out to eat, and I even say to Jeff, I don't even know why we bother. Now, tonight was a good example of delicious food. I'm glad we bothered. But most of the time, like where I live, it's not worth it going out. So I will try appetizers sometimes that sound interesting, and then with full intent of making them for you guys. And I have before. So yeah, I do it all the time. All the time. And then of course I try to make them better if I can. I don't think anyone can improve on this chicken sandwich though. It's just so good. Okay. What am I drinking? It is actually just Evan Williams and Coke Zero. That's all. Nothing interesting really. Um so yes, I have a chicken marsala recipe on my website and I love chicken marsala. And I'll actually have another one too. I have a stove. Don't I have a stovetop version? I have an herb chicken marsala, I think. That's a stovetop version that is not breaded and it's herb encrusted marsala. That's delicious too. And then I have a Ninja Foodie 360 meal, meaning everything's cooked all together at once. And that's a chicken marsala. Hi, Jen. How are you? All right. I'm going to keep going, keep going down here. Um, Okay, that's a good question. How would you make a pie crust in the Ninja Foodie for an apple pie, for example? I have that on my website. You're going to blind bake it. If you want a really good apple pie, blind bake your pie crust so that you are going to get a crispy crust. And that I have a recipe. So just look up 10-minute apple pie on my website because literally what I do, and it says 10-minute apple pie, it's not clickbait. It's not intended to be clickbait, but you make your pie crust, you make your filling, and then when you want to serve your apple pie, you make it in 10 minutes. So you have the other stuff done, but you make it in 10 minutes. It's delicious. Look that up, and then that'll take you to the pie crust recipe where I go through how to blind bake it because it's a little bit different. And I think it's in the Ninja Foodie. I'm pretty sure. You know what? Now that I think about it, I might have done that in the oven, in the Ninja oven. I did the I did the pie filling. I pressure cooked the pie filling. But I might have done the pie crust in the oven. But I think it would be, you know, maybe I had trouble doing the pie crust in the foodie because of that fan. I might have. I have to think about that, Elaine. I haven't thought about it for a while. Um, Annette, you will have to tell me what Christmas cake is. I'm not sure I know.
Sounds good.
It does, but I don't know what it is. So I don't have a recipe for it because I don't know what it is. I've heard of Christmas pudding, I think. Um, but yeah, I'm not sure what it is. Okay. Let's keep going down and see. Um, Yeah, You know, I've been testing a recipe for years. I say that a lot. See, I lose interest sometimes. If things don't work out, like remember Jeff when we were doing the I was making like okay, so this is what I wanted to do. Uh, a chocolate chip cookie and an oatmeal raisin cookie using the same batter, but you would just add in different add-ins and then you would freeze it and then you would just take out one or two so you could have a chocolate chip cookie and an oatmeal raisin cookie at the same time. Whatever happened with that? They were good, but I didn't get it. I must not have perfected it because it didn't go out. Sometimes that happens. But yeah, I want to do that. I think that'd be cool. Okay. Judith, we had this come up a little bit earlier. How come Ninja doesn't sponsor you? I don't want them to. I don't want to be sponsored. I don't want anyone telling me what to do or say, or I don't want to be I'm not an appliance pusher. You know, I know it seems like I am because all my stuff's in the Ninja, but that's only because I found you guys that liked the Ninja and I like the Ninja and I started creating recipes. And so that's why it's so Ninja focused. But really, my whole goal in life has nothing to do with Ninja, nothing at all. It has to do with inspiring people to cook, get out of their comfort zone, and make delicious food that they're proud of. And that's what I want to do. So I don't care about the Ninja. The Ninja's just a means to an end. I mean, I like using it or I wouldn't use it, but I don't want to be sponsored by them. I just don't. We went over that earlier. I just don't. I don't want anyone telling me what to do or say. I don't want to pretend to like it if I don't like it. Like if they put out something that I think is crap, I want to be saying it's crap, don't buy it. Period. That's all. When you're sponsored, it's a little hard sometimes. So, yeah, we're just going to leave it. Okay. Oh, let's talk about this. I did talk to Ninja about the combi, and they won't say if it's going to come out or not or when. Okay. Well, it's coming out. It's got to, unless they're being sued, which now I'm talking out of school, aren't I? There's another oven that's very similar, different brand, and a very similar name. So I don't know if they're being delayed. I'm really spreading, like, I'm just making that up. I don't know that to be a fact. Shouldn't even said anything live. But I was doing research on the combi. And I thought, man, that name is awful. Because I think there is called combi steam. I'm like, man, those names are very close. But I think Ninja has the trademark on Ninja Combi. So I don't know. I don't know why Walmart would put it out. It's out of stock, but they've got a SKU for it. So I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. I doubt they're being sued though. They have the trademark. So, but I did wonder. Is there a little bit of something going on? Anyway, um, so Sharon, like, yeah, so the door will have a seal. Now you don't have to like have a total seal like you do with pressure cooking when you're steaming, but it'll probably just have a rubber gasket, just like they all do. Like even I think the XL oven has a rubber gasket, I think, but I'm not sure. Now that I think about that, I can't look at mine because I'm not home. But my question is, where is the steam source coming from? Because you're not going to be able, like, you know how you've got the inner pot with the foodie and with the steamy. What's it called? It's not called the steamy. What's that thing called? Oh, the speedy.
I don't know, there's too many of them.
Oh my god. Yeah. Okay. Not the steamy. The Ninja steamy. Oh my gosh.
Give them a week, they'll have it out.
No, they won't have the steamy out. But anyway, unless it's an iron, the Ninja steamy. Anyway, the Ninja Speedy, you know, or the pressure cooker, you know, you can put in the water in the inner pot and that creates the steam. But if you're going to be putting it in this combi, there's got to be a reservoir for the steam, or it's not going to be true steaming. It's just heating your rice and water up like you would in an oven, creating steam that way. So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one though. I'm looking forward to it. All right. Let's see. I think, John, I'm sorry, I'm yawning. I think that's about the bread or something. I've never had it work as well for bread, making bread, just putting water in. Now I've done the whole boiling water and stuff. Kind of a pain. But the steam and crisp works pretty well for making bread. Okay. I'm gonna keep going here because I know I am um okay, so that's about the feedback. I can tell you now that including those things will be super helpful for a lot of recipes. Thank you for doing that. This is always awesome. Thank you. Um okay. All right. Todd, I love English short ribs. Me too. My two-part question. Is there any time advantage in using the Ninja versus um, convectional? And if I save cooking time, do I sacrifice flavor or texture? Okay. So, short ribs. These are the thick English cut short ribs. They are amazing, but they do really well braising, meaning that it's a moisture heating environment because you're going to have the liquid down, even though a lot of times you'll bake them in the oven. They're still braising. So they do well in a moist cooking environment. They are going to do fantastic with pressure cooking. Absolutely fantastic. Fantastic. You will not sacrifice flavor. You will not sacrifice texture if you leave room at the end for air crisping. Okay. Because it is the combination of the moist cooking environment that helps to render that fat, which when that fat renders is what makes that meat so succulent and so delicious. That is done with the braising or pressure cooking. But then what makes it look beautiful and just have this added layer of texture is the dry heat that comes at the end. So do the two-part pressure cook and then air crisp, or pressure cook and bake, or pressure cook and broil. Any of those combinations will work, and you will really be in love with your short ribs. The one thing I will say though is that a lot of recipes, I don't have a recipe yet, but a lot of recipes I think over pressure cook the short ribs so that they're falling off that bone. You don't really want that, especially if you want to serve them with the bone, with a nice kind of glaze of some sort, or a sauce of some sort. You want them on the bone for presentation. So you don't want to go overboard on how long you pressure cook. You can always bake or air crisp or broil longer to get the right texture to finish them off at the end. So if you find a recipe online, maybe cut that back by 25% time wise the first time you make them so that you're not disappointed. I have a hard time finding those short ribs, which is why I ended up doing a recipe for flanken style short ribs, which are the same meat, but totally different preparation. They're thin and they're totally different. But I think the store near me is starting to carry the short ribs. So I'm going to look because I almost ordered at this Cooper's Hawk restaurant the beef short ribs and risotto. I think I can make that all in one meal in the Ninja. I think. Not sure. Now that I say that out loud, I'm thinking, oh, the risotto might overcook, but I'm going to work on it. Okay. Because I think that would be an amazing flavor. And then the juices from those ribs would help to flavor that risotto. I think it would be amazing. Okay. Okay, great. And thank you so much. Anna, thank you so much for going there and looking. That's awesome. That's perfect. Thank you. Okay. Oh my gosh, Carol T. I hope everything went okay. Oh my gosh. Well, I was cooking the other day. We had a bad thunderstorm and the same thing happened. I was like, oh my gosh. I think were we filming or was I just testing a recipe when I was like, are we gonna lose power? I can't remember if we were filming or not. I don't remember either. Okay, George, I do have a beef stroganoff, but it's in my cookbook. I have not done one on my website. I think I'll wait a minute. Do I have beef stroganoff, Jeff? No. Only on my in my cookbook, Flavors of Fall cookbook. Um But I think that's something I probably will do another version of it because I've got that one. I think that's a one pot beef stroganoff so that you do the noodles and everything all at once. So maybe I'll make just beef stroganoff without the noodles. Maybe I'll make beef stroganoff with mashed potatoes for my website. So good idea. Um, all right, let's see. Okay. All right. I'm having a devil of a time cooking rice with my Ninja Foodie first edition, so I had to go old school. Yeah, well, rice is a little tricky too. Try steaming it versus pressure cooking it. That's number one. If you're going to do it in the pot, or do your rice pot and pot, you'll have much better success, better texture, I think. Okay. Um, all right, I'm going to keep going. Good, Michelle. I look forward to the email. Um, oh, that's awesome. Happy birthday to Charlie. You're gonna make him cupcakes. I love that. I make my or I haven't done it lately, but a little chicken egg cake for my chickens. I haven't done that for the dogs. Although I will say, Jeff doesn't even know this. They did have some snickerdoodles the other night.
Who, the dogs?
Yeah, Gus.
Oh,
The other ones didn't seem interested, but Gus was like,
oh, yeah.
he was like right next to me, like, Mom, snickerdoodles. Um, all right, let's see. All right, we're gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going. Okay, Jacqueline, amaretto is one of my favorite flavors, and I have a recipe that I haven't put out yet, and I'm gonna put it out this year. I've had it ready for like 2 or 3 years, believe it or not. And it is an aniseed cookie. So, oh, that doesn't have anything to do with amaretto. What am I thinking? Anyway, I love aniseed too, but oh, what about that? An almond amaretto cookie. That sounds good.
Sign me up.
Sign me up too. All right. Thank you, Carol T. Thank you, thank you. Yes, the Ninja Thirsty's out. I don't know what.
You need to top up on
Sure. I don't know what
your
I
Ninja
was.
Thirsty.
Oh, you didn't hear about this?
No.
The Ninja. Is it called the Thirsty? Really? I think it is. Okay, yeah. So the Ninja Thirsty's out. It's a soda stream basically that has pods. But I saw them for. So I said, I am not getting this. I'm out. I don't need a soda stream. We had one. I thought because Jeff likes water and he likes fizzy water and stuff, and I like vodka with flavored fizzy water. So I'm like, soda stream. We'll do a soda stream. I found it to be like a big pain in the butt. So we never used it. I still have it. We never use it. So I was like, with the Ninja Thirsty, I'm like, no, I'm not. That doesn't even interest me. But then I saw. Yeah. So you can see where this is going, where I'll probably end up getting it. Anyway, I saw that you put ice in it. So you put ice in the little reservoir, and the reservoir is sort of like the coffee maker that I have that's Ninja that I love. And you put ice in this reservoir. It turns a color. That's kind of fun. Turns a color when it's ready. I guess when it's chilled that water. Then the cold water goes through and comes out fizzy into your cup. Now, I won't be one signing up to buy these pods. So, because I'm just not that girl. Like I do buy coffee pods though, but I'm just not that girl. I don't want to buy stuff all the time like that. So I'll have to figure out if I can make my own like drink mixes because I'm thinking I could put ice in my drink cup, my vodka cup. I could put vodka in it. I could put like a little 2 or 3 drops of whatever those little things are. What are they called? I want to call them miso, but Milo, Mimos. What are those little drink things
Mio.
called? What is it?
Mio.
Mio. Those little Mio things where you just put a little bit in, and then get my club soda basically out of this thirsty thing and make an instant drink. It'd be better if I could put vodka in if I could mix it all together and then just have it come out. That would even be better, but I don't think that would be safe for the machine. Okay. All right. My website is thesaltedpepper.com. I don't, okay. I don't know if that's what you're asking, but that is what I'm giving you. All right. You can't post links. I can. I don't know. I didn't know that was a thing. I guess it's to slow down spam where only the admin can post links, I guess. That's interesting. Okay. Oh, Annie, a bread bowl for my KitchenAid. The bread is so crunchy. You're going to have to give me some details on that. I love crunchy bread. All right, Gary. Why do I think I'm going to cry at this? You're the reason why I cook for my family and the Ninja Foodie every night. There are so many dishes I would have never tried until I watched your podcast. Thank you for the amazing ideas. Thank you. That makes me feel so good. Like, that's the whole reason that I get up every single morning. Hey, Debbie. Debbie, I talked about you earlier, like ham. We're revisiting ham this year. Jeff's like not even thrilled. Are you thrilled, honey? No.
I like ham. I'm just tired of trying to get it to work.
We used to like ham until you have like 500 of them. All right. Let's see. I'm going to just keep going here down because I think it's time to sign off anyway. Wait a minute. What time is it? See, my computer's an hour. I'm like 8:17. I'm thinking that I went live at 8 and it's 8:17. I'm like, no way.
It's 9:17 and you went live at 8.
Yeah. Funny. Okay. I do have to answer this. Have I tried the Ninja Woodfire outdoor grill and smoker? Oh, yes. I've had that for about 9 months now. I love it. And I did not think I was going to like it at all. So let me, if anyone's interested, they just came out with a new version, which is pretty pricey right now, but they'll come down. And I am going to link to the article for anyone who's interested in reading about it because I think it's one of the coolest things. And I'm going to be doing some recipes in it. But I don't want to do too many because I don't want anyone to think that I want everyone to go out and buy this. Why am I on Facebook? I'm trying to look up my website, then it took me to Facebook. Oh, it's called autofill. That's what it's called. Louise. Oh, that's not where I want to go either. Like for somebody who works online all day long, I can be technically challenged sometimes. I'm going to go in this way. Okay, I'm pulling up this article to post a thing about it. Anyway, I did a comparison guide, but back to what I was saying. I don't want anyone to think like you have to go out and buy this. Nobody has to buy anything. And although I absolutely love it, if you wanted to get into smoked meats, it is worth it. And I didn't think it was going to be at all. And I'm pretty funny about it because I owned a barbecue restaurant. And I smoked meat all the time in a big rotisserie wood burning smoker. And I thought this little thing's going to be terrible. It's not. And it's so easy to work. It is perfect for entry level smoking meats or small quantity smoking meats. Really great. I mean, so much easier than messing with. I've never had a pellet smoker, so I don't know how those work, but so much easier than messing with heating the charcoal up and then getting the wood burning and all that kind of stuff that I used to do. This one is so easy. It makes it a joy. Like you just want to go out and smoke something. Like I've taken chicken and just said, oh, you know what? No, burgers the other day too. This is another thing. It has a cold smoke feature, right? So I'm like, we're going to grill some burgers. I said, but how about if I put a little smoke on them first, Jeff? So I did a 30-minute cold smoke and then took them off because they're not cooked, right? 30 minutes is perfectly safe. Food safety wise, it's perfectly safe. And then put the grill on high and then grilled them up. They were delicious and had just a nice little smoke flavor. I will say the pellets that come with the grill, the wood fire grill and the wood fire oven are horrible. So don't judge it based on their pellets or you might return the whole thing. Get better pellets. And I recommend if you're new to smoking, try out a fruit wood, try out an apple wood or something like that. It's going to give you a nice mild smoke that you'll really enjoy and pairs with almost everything, all foods. Okay, let's keep going. All right. think we were talking about the chili Carol T. I'm going to move on from that. If you're talking about my white chicken chili, the cumin is one of the things that the cumin and chili powder like always turn it pink. If that's what you're talking about. Okay. No, that's a good idea. So Bamford Chef has a white chicken chili that's pretty good. I could modify to make it better. Yeah, but when I make it better, it turns pink. Because I'm like, oh, it needs this, it needs this. And I've just got to figure out better spices that I could use to make it really delicious without turning it pink. Okay. Kim, I have dehydrated in the Ninja Foodie a few times, but honestly, it's kind of, if it was my only way to dehydrate, I would do it. But because I have the XL oven that works great as a dehydrator, I don't use the Ninja Foodie to dehydrate because of the way the levels are and because of the way the air circulates, kind of like what we were talking about earlier with baking the cakes. It's not even, so I have to move the trays around all the time. If you were doing something like basil in the Ninja Foodie, you could just throw all your basil in the bottom of the inner pot and put the rack over top so it doesn't fly up. You can dehydrate the whole thing of basil all at once. That's easy. Okay, a beef jerky I made once. This is funny. It was the best beef jerky I've ever had. And I thought this is it. This is a winner. We did the recipe. We filmed the recipe, and then I started second guessing myself. Oh my gosh, what about food safety? I dehydrated at like 135 or some whatever I did. I don't remember now. Did that bring the meat up to temperature in the right time? Is this going against food safety? And I started doing research and I was finding that it was. And I was like, okay, I got to scrap that recipe. Darn it. It was so good. It was so good. Then I started thinking my own brain engaged. And I'm like, wait a minute now. There's no difference. Heat is heat. There's no difference between a dry heat, like a dehydrator, and a sous vide cooker. If we can sous vide something for 4 damn days, at a lower temperature, I can dehydrate at a lower temperature. So fast forward, like when my brain engaged, which was probably a year later, I said, Jeff, what happened to that beef jerky recipe? He's like, oh, I think I deleted all that footage. I'm like, because it was okay. So that's how it works. Sometimes we'll get something all the way ready to be released and I'll have a second thought about it or like find something out that I didn't know before or be like, oh, I don't think I can put that out. And then I'll forget about it. And then a year later, I'll be like, wait a minute, that recipe was perfectly fine. We could put it out. But if you can't find it, I haven't gone back to do it again. But it was really good. Really good. Yeah, Betty, Cooper's Hawk. So it is a chain. Sue said it's a chain. And it is awesome. Okay, Chris, is it true you can do hard boiled eggs in the air fryer? It is, but I've never done it. But I know it's true. I think it's kind of an odd way to do it. I don't know how the shells peel. I tried to steam them in the Speedy, and I've tried to sous vide them, and nothing compares to pressure cooking with the way the shells peel. So unless it works better than pressure cooking, I don't think I'll put a recipe out for it. I don't know. But I'm going to try it in the air fryer one day. I've got plenty of eggs. We all know that now. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I like the idea of Mediterranean coleslaw. That sounds pretty good. I'll have to look that up. That sounds good. Um, okay. Jolene, you know what what marinade I used? I used the London broil marinade on my website. That's what I used. I might have added a little bit more mustard or a little bit more spice, but it was pretty darn close to that marinade and it turned out amazing. When you're marinating things for beef jerky, you want to make it a pretty powerful marinade. Anything that's not super flavorful is not going to come through in your beef. So make it like almost to the point where if you tasted it, you'd be like, whoa, that's too much. That's when it's right. If it tastes good to you right off the spoon, it's not strong enough. Um, All right, let's see. I'm going to keep going, keep going, keep going. Yeah, that's so funny. So if you do make it better, you say, "Get the camera out, I crushed it," and then put it on here. Yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah, if I make something that I've had at a restaurant and it's better than the restaurant, and I know this is gonna be, like, a winning recipe, yeah. Jeff, sometimes like, I have a content calendar. This you might find this interesting. I have a content calendar, and I plan content out months and months and months in advance. But every once in a while I just get creative in the kitchen and want to cook something. And it might not have anything to do with anything on my content calendar. I just do it. And sometimes it turns out so darn good that we make room in the schedule for me to do it right away. And so some recipes can be developed, for the first time, tested, and filmed all in a week period. And some take years. It just depends. So sometimes I get tired of cooking something. Like if I've tested something like so many times and it's not quite perfect, I back burner it for a little bit because I'm tired of making it, I'm tired of eating it, I'm tired of freezing it. I'm just tired of it. So I've got to then cycle it through. I have a dehydrating basil recipe coming out that we filmed that, what, 2 years ago?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's in the old house. It's in the old, well, it's still my house, but it's in the old kitchen. So, but I didn't have a slot for it. By the time we got it done and ready to go, it was like middle of the winter or something. So I was like, wait a minute, I gotta put this out in the summer. I have a how to corn your own brisket to make corned beef. That is mainly for my UK audience. And I don't know, John, do you have corned beef in Australia? So this is a way because they can't find corned beef, they can find brisket. And so I decided I would show them how to corn beef, learn myself, which was, oh my God, it took me forever. It took me so long that I started it February and could not get it right to go out for March, where it was supposed to go out before St. Patrick's Day. So it's done now, but now it won't go out until I'll probably put it out early February because that'll give enough people time to think about doing it for St. Patrick's Day if that's what they want to do. Although you don't have to make it just on St. Patrick's Day, it's good anytime, but that's kind of a seasonal type of thing. Anyway, that's off track, but okay. So Wendy wants to know, how do you bake in the Instant Pot? There's an Instant Pot that's like the Foodie that has a Duo Crisp. My hair is still falling out. That has it's called the Duo Crisp, and then there's a Pro Crisp, and they have the lid. There's also something called a Mealthy lid, which I think that name is so funny. It reminds me of mealworms or something. I just find that name so funny. Um, and that creates an air fryer lid on your Instant Pot. And I think the Milthy lids fit on almost all Instant Pots. They were really big years ago, but I haven't heard much about them lately. I don't even know if they're still available. Um, but for the price that you can get now, like you can get on Amazon, I think a Ninja Foodie Smart Lid for $100 now. One of the Smart Lids. It's a 6.5 quart, but still a great deal. Okay. Oh, Leanne, you're saying there's a reservoir on the combi? How did you see that? Or maybe you're a tester? Okay, we'll have to see about that. Um, okay, so uh Dorothy, the Dreo, you love it. Is that one called the Combi Steam or Combi Steam? I remember you talking to me about that. So we're talking about the new Ninja Combi, which it isn't even out yet. I'm probably gonna get like a letter from Ninja's lawyers telling me to zip it. I don't care. What I think I can. It's public knowledge. It's on um, Walmart's website. Like I'm not telling any trade secrets. Okay,
You don't know any.
I don't know any. That's right. I don't know any. Okay, let's see. Oh, that's so funny, April. Lesson learned when using the speedy to make pad thai. Don't use the speedy steam and crisp function. Use the steam function instead. Your noodles will be nice and crispy. Yeah, I did some kind of a noodle dish too, and sort of overestimated time it would take, and I got distracted because it happens all the time. And yeah, I had some real crunchy noodles. So yeah, but you could do steam and crisp, but you would need to be kind of careful so that you don't want your pad thai noodles crispy, I guess. But if you had the chicken on top, there's ways to do it. But anyway. Okay. All right. Okay. I want to address that, but I don't know how. Um we're gonna have to talk about that because I don't understand how it can cook from the inside out unless there's a heating probe that goes into something. I'm going to need some information on that. I mean, I know there's some talk about microwaves and the way that they work, and they do cook really unevenly weirdness. But I don't see how this Dreo could cook from the inside out. But anyway, we'll leave it there because I don't know everything and I don't know anything about the Dreo. So I'll have to find that out though. That really makes me interested. Okay. I'm scrolling down. I'm scrolling down. Okay. Judith, how do you do meat and potato recipes in the foodie when the meat takes so much longer than the veggies? Okay. So meat and potato recipe, not meat and broccoli recipe, because that would be much harder depending on the meat. The way that you get food to be done at the same time in the Ninja Foodie is by modifying the ingredient size mostly. Okay. If there are two different cook times. So let's say the meat is, let's say it's a chuck roast. Okay. This is easy because I've done this a million times. If you have a chuck roast, 3-pound chuck roast, that would take at least 60 minutes. Really, I think they're better at 90 minutes of pressure cook time. If you put a normal sized russet potato in for 90 minutes, it's going to be falling apart, right? It's not going to be like, it would be okay if you were going to mash it. So if you wanted to make mashed potatoes and meat, just put the potatoes in a pan or on a rack. Well, I'd probably put it in a pan because they're going to fall apart. So put it in a pan on top or whatever. You're going to collect some water in there. I'm thinking this through as I talk. So maybe put it on a plate that has some holes in it if you have one. Anyway, I'm getting more complicated than I need to be. Put it on the rack on some tinfoil, it'll be fine. Poke some holes in the tinfoil, it'll be fine. That'll let the steam kind of go as it comes back into the dish as liquid. It won't pool in your pot. Anyway, I'm getting way off subject. So you put your potatoes in and cook them for 90 minutes. If you're going to mash them, it's not going to matter. You're not going to overcook your potatoes. It's going to be fine. Leave them whole though. I wouldn't chop them up. Now, if you wanted to make, let's say you wanted to roast them, let's say you wanted to air crisp the potatoes at the end. You could probably put them in a pan covered in really big chunks and cut your meat into 4-inch chunks, and you could do 30 minutes and you'd be fine. But you couldn't do the same thing with broccoli. If you wanted to do a meat and broccoli, you need to get a meat that's going to cook at a much shorter period of time. That gets more challenging. It can be done though. I mean, I've done it. They're called 360 meals. They're on my website. I only have like 4 or 5 of them though, because they do take a lot of thinking and a lot of testing to get them right. But once they're right, they're so easy to make. Randy's saying everything tastes like diet soda. I don't remember, like, we got a few soda things for the soda stream, soda flavorings. I didn't think it was good. But I'm talking about the thirsty for just plain old vodka drinks. So I really don't need to get a machine to make vodka drinks. That's silly, Louise. Stop it. Just stop it. We don't need it. We don't need it. I don't know what you mean, Wendy. I hate the admin control to get approved. I'm not sure what you mean. You'd have to be a little bit more. Oh, is that about posting links? I don't know what that is. I'm not sure what that is, but if it cuts down on spam, I'm all for it. Okay, my hair's falling out again. All right, let's see. I've got to get down and be done with this. Okay, let's see. All right, that's a good question. Jolie wants to know how I got into YouTube, Jeff. Do you remember?
I don't know what our first video was.
Jeff's background is in video editing and things like that. So I think that Jeff said, Louise, why don't you do a cooking video? And I said, Jeff, nobody watches cooking videos. Why would I do a cooking video? Nobody watches videos. I'll put them on my website. People read recipes. They print recipes. They don't watch recipes. I'm not funny. I got nothing. Like, I don't have anything to, like, what am I going to do? Just cook on the camera? How boring is that? Nobody's going to watch them. He's like, well, just do one or two of them and see. I'm like, all right, dude, but this is a waste of time because nobody's going to watch them. Well, guess what? I was wrong. He was right. And that was the end of it. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much because I was able to sit there and tell myself all the things I wish I would have known before I ruined the recipe 5 times, right? I'm kind of exaggerating a little bit. But, when you're cooking your whole life, you've ruined things a lot. And it's like I could think of all these little times when something had happened and I could just say it and say, okay, so, you want to do this because if you don't, it's going to do X, Y, Z. And that all comes from just experience and screwing up. And it was fun. So we just kept doing it. All right. Oh my gosh, Wendy. So Wendy's in Ventura, California. And so she had the Hillary hurricane and now earthquakes. My goodness. Barbara. Okay, so you bought the wood fire and you haven't taken it out. Wonder if you should exchange it for the new one. Why don't you hold tight on that till I get back into town? Because mine's being delivered, the new one, and I can tell you basically whether or not, I think the upgrade is worth it for certain people and not for others. I think if you're entry level, you don't need all the bells and whistles. You're going to have fun with the standard model. I don't even think the probe's necessary, really. But the Bluetooth is very interesting to me. And I want to see how that is. And I like the fact that it's a bigger cooking surface because I had an issue with a pork shoulder. I think the pork shoulder, what was it? Was it 10 pounds? Was that pork shoulder 10 pounds?
10?
Yeah, it was either 8 or 10. They're big. It was a bone in. It was big. It was a lot. And I still smoked it. It still turned out fine. But I could see the indent from the fan because it was like that tight. So this other one's a little bit taller. But hang tight on that and I'll let you know. What am I supposed to be reposting, Randy? Oh my goodness. My website? Some link isn't working. All right. I will post. What did I post? Oh my gosh, I can't even remember. All right, that's one. Oh, I see why it's not working. I'm not doing it right. I'll tell you. Why is that not? It's probably, why is this not working? Okay, that should work now. I'm not grabbing the entire address. That's why. That should work for the wood fire. Now let me type in my website again. There you go. That should work. Okay. Yeah, Anna, I think what happened is I didn't copy the whole address correctly. Screwed up. April. I'm going to start doing that. I haven't blended my own pellets yet. So I think some of those are going to be amazing. I think blending is going to be amazing. I have not played around with that. I've been doing a lot of apple. I've done apple and cherry. I have peach I want to try on pork. Um, but I'm really settling into the apple as my all around smoking meat, smoking pellets. And Camp Chef so far is the most consistent and the best flavor I've gotten across the board. There are some other ones that I do like, but as far as just an overall general use pellet, the Camp Chef are pretty good. There's one that I thought had the best flavor, but the residue that it caused in the grill, it glued my wood thing, my little hopper, basically it glued it shut. So I won't be recommending that brand, although the flavor was the best. But I think they must put something on their pellets. Um, delicious flavor, horrible mess. Still haven't really totally gotten it off. Um, and Wendy's saying, hated Jeff. Behind every good man is a great woman.
And vice versa.
And vice versa. That's right. All right. All right, Annie, I'll look into that bread bowl. Okay, Barbara, Jeff does work on Q&A days, but we are actually in Maryland. So that's why my whole background looks different. We're in Maryland on a quick trip that we had to take. So he's off work because we're in Maryland. Jolene, it's if you go on my website, go to the London broil recipe, and that's the marinade I think I made. If you send me an email, though, I can look in my records and actually send you the marinade that I put on the beef. Okay. Wendy, I have several videos on sous vide already. A bunch, like probably 4. Oh yeah, the little eggs, good for salads. We made egg salad. I think I pressure cooked 18 eggs yesterday to make egg salad to bring in the plane, to have lunch in flight. We didn't do that though, but we were going to. But we didn't, so we have it in there for tomorrow. Randy, stop. You have got to at least once try pressure cooking them. You have to. I was telling Jeff today or yesterday when I was pressure cooking them, I don't care. All the people that say to me on YouTube mostly, that's ridiculous. Don't pressure cook your eggs. All you have to do is boil on the stove for 10 minutes and then put your lid on and blah, 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 blah. And everybody has their own preferred method of pressure cooking eggs. I mean, of cooking eggs. I get that for hard boiled eggs. I totally understand that. I have tried every method that I can possibly research or see on the internet. I've tried all kinds of different timings on the stove. Nothing compares to the way the eggs peel when they're pressure cooked. And unless you have tried it, you just don't understand. It's like squeeze and pop them out. It's so easy. You've got to try it once. Oh, Wendy, I'm sorry. Fox took out 2 of her chickens. I'm so sorry. All right. Mark, well, that's a good question. I haven't written that post up yet because I made it and I haven't done the storage stuff yet. I used it very quickly, but let me think. When I made it for the test batch, I didn't use it for about 3 or 4 days in the next recipe, which is a pasta salad recipe that's coming out. And I kept it in a container covered and it was fine. It did not get hard, but it's not going to last like mayo in a jar. It's not going to last that long, but it stored okay for me. But again, that's something else I've got regular mayonnaise that I made homemade that's been in the refrigerator and I'm seeing how long it lasts in there and what the quality is of that. Okay. Carol T, if I could figure out how to make a real brisket, my husband would go nuts. What do you consider a real brisket, though? That would be interesting for me. Like a smoked brisket, or are you talking about corning it for corned beef? Um, all right, I'm scrolling. I'm scrolling fast because I really do need to hang up the phone. It's almost been 2 hours, and I know it's not the phone, but I always consider it the phone. Um, Wendy, I live in West Tennessee. Let's see. Okay, there are my things. Pork ribs. Okay, good. Good, good. Okay, reposted. Good, good, good. I'm going through. I'm going through. I'm going through. Okay. Um. Oh no, Annette got. Um. Hey Sue, how are you? Okay. Let's see. Yes, Kim. Easier to peel. I have chickens, Wendy. We have 12 hens and one rooster. Tell the times for pressure cooking eggs. I do 4 minutes of pressure cook with 1 cup of water. I think I do 1 cup of water. 4 minutes of pressure cook, 4 minutes of natural release, and then into the ice bath. That's what I do. But now when I had my mini eggs, they were all smaller because they were smaller hens, and I only did 2 minutes of pressure cook. But I forgot about them and I did a longer natural release, so it's probably the same. Okay. Um, Rand, make the mayo. Make the mayo. Yes. Okay. Hang up the phone. Hang up the phone. Louise must still be on dial up. That's what I call it, hanging up the phone. Because this is why. Whenever I get to this point where it's like, okay, I know I need to go. I need to let you guys go. But I love you all so much. I have so much fun on Q&As and Tasty Tuesdays, especially Q&As. Like I love Tasty Tuesdays, but I feel like I'm cooking. I don't get a lot of time to like really read your comments and interact and stuff like that. So I feel like now when I'm going to say goodbye, I'm hanging up the phone on you. I'm saying goodbye, hanging up the phone. And I always get nervous that somebody's going to say something like right when I'm hanging up the phone, basically. And then I'm going to miss their comment and they're going to feel like I ignored them. And I hate that. So I always hate hanging up the phone. But, I have to hang up the phone. I have to say goodnight. My husband's piddling around in the kitchen, and I think his arms are starting to bother him. So I think I need to dig out the Benadryl. So I do need to go. It's been great though. Like I started out thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be on here very long. I'm going to be on here like maybe 20 minutes. And I think this is one of the longest ones, an hour and 48 minutes. And it was very engaging. Like I just love you all so much and all the wonderful comments and everything. Hey, Colleen, how are you? Haven't seen you in a long time. Um, and now I'll just like rest my vocal cords because I am really hoarse for some reason. But I'm going to think on what John said. Somebody's trying to silence me, but not in a bad way. We're gonna have to talk on that. You have to send me a message. Give me the deets, John. Give me the deets. Anyway, I feel like part of this was therapy for me. Thank you very much. And but I just had such a good time, and hopefully it was a little bit educational and maybe a little bit inspiring. And anyway, I love you guys so much. See, I'm looking down because I know somebody's going to say they're going to make a comment as I hang up. Okay, I'm hanging up the phone now. Bye. Love you guys. We'll see you next